I'm Rabbi Esther Reed. We're going to make challah today. The first step is to fill a cup, 1 cup, with warm water. Once you have your cup of warm water, it should be more than lukewarm, but not scalding hot. The next step is 2 tablespoons of yeast. Now, this particular yeast that I'm using is what they were selling at Glot 27, but you could use a jar of yeast. You could even use those little packets as long as you're able to open them up and measure out 2 tablespoons. We're going to put this to the side so that the yeast can proof. That means that it kind of bubbles up, gets all yeasty. The next step is to take the flour. I like unbleached flour, unenriched if possible, but it really doesn't matter as long as it's not flour that comes with yeast already in it, like a self-rising flour. Just want plain all-purpose flour. And that's 3 cups. You want 3 cups of flour. Now we're going to add something sweet to the yeast to help it grow. I like to use sugar, but you can also use honey. Either way, it's a 1/4 cup, sugar or honey, that you add to the yeast and the water. I just pour it right on top. And then I take the same 1/4 cup, measuring cup, and put oil into the mixture of flour and sugar. The oil can be olive oil, which is what I have. It could be any other kind of oil. I've also used coconut oil, which is nice, but it does give the challah a coconut taste. Now, we're going to add the yeast and sugar mixture to everything else. I'm putting it in a container that goes into a bread machine, but you could also mix this by hand and start stirring it in a large bowl at this point. What I do is I take this mixture, I put it in a bread machine, and the bread machine makes it run on the dough setting only, so it mixes it up as dough. You could choose to stir it until it turns into a nice dough, mix it, knead it, and set it aside for half an hour to rise. When this is done in the bread machine, I will take it out and show you how to braid it and bake it. Welcome back. Hopefully your dough had a chance to rise a little bit. I'm taking my dough out of the bread machine. If you find that your dough is sticky, you would add some flour. Just put some flour on your hands and then it wouldn't stick. But today this isn't very sticky, so I'm in pretty good shape. Now you have the option of dividing the dough in half to make 2 medium-sized to large-sized challahs, or to divide the dough into thirds to make 3 small challahs, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 3 small challahs. We will have 2 of them at Friday night dinner, only eating 1, and then the 2 left over we will have for lunch. Now, when you're ready to braid the challah, what you want to do is take the portion of dough that you'll be braiding and divide it into equal parts. The first one I'm going to do is a 3-strand challah. So you divide it into thirds, and then you make your long rolls or snakes. The thing to remember when you're making the long rolls or snakes is that you want to squeeze your hands together. You don't want to pull it apart this way, but as you roll your hands back and forth, you're actually squeezing, and that's what makes it long. Once you have your 3 strands, you will braid them. I like to pinch them together at the top, fold that underneath, and then start braiding. Once it's braided, I pinch it together at the bottom, fold that under. I also like to make it somewhat compact, so any holes or openings all smush together. I'm going to move that to the side while I make 2 more challahs. For this one, I'm going to do the 4 strand. I divide the challah in half, and then I divide the dough in half again. Again, you want them to be around the same length and around the same thickness throughout. If you find that there's one part of it that becomes too thin, you can roll it into a ball and start all over again. For the 4 strand, the way I like to do it is, starting from the outside, take one and put it under the 2 middle ones, and then over the middle one that's left. On the other side, under 2, over 1. Under 2, over 1, under 2, over 1. Again, I roll the ends of it underneath and put it to the side while I make the last one. This is a different 4 strand that I'm going to make. Again, I divide the dough in half and divide it in half again. So I have 4 equal balls. Once again, I'm going to make 4 strands about the same length. This one's a little bit long, but that's okay. Now, for this one, I'm actually going to move these over. This one is more like a weave. Again, I pinch together the top of the challah, and once the strands are pinched together at the top and folded over, I start doing a weave. Under, over, under. Next, under, over, under. Again, I pinch it together at the top and fold it over. And now I have my 3 different challahs, 3 different braids. I have the weave, I have the 4 strand under 2 over 1, and I have the 3 strand. I'm making them diagonal near each other, but with a little bit of room in between so they'll have time to rise. I cover it with a cloth and let it rise for 45 minutes. Let's see how the challah has been rising. Not bad. What I'm going to do now is take 1 egg that has been beaten into what we call an egg wash. I have a pastry brush where I just lightly and gently paint the challah with the egg. You don't press down hard because you don't want to smush the challah that has just been rising. And then we can add sesame seeds. I also like to add other spices sometimes. One of my favorites is called Everything But the Bagel. You can buy that at Trader Joe's. Ours has run out, so today's just going to be sesame seeds. A little bit more. I want to make sure I got all the spots. And now we put it in the oven. And here it is. Shabbat Shalom.